Today, on the fourth day of World Mental Health Week, we have a very special guest speaker with us, Honorable Birungi Beatrice ma'am from Uganda, East Africa. She is a neuropsychotherapist, researcher, lecturer, counselor, and spiritual mentor. And today she is going to enlighten us on a very relevant and important topic, that is the quantum mindset thinking, limiting beliefs shifting. So, not taking too much time, now I would like to request our guest to kindly proceed today's session. Ma'am, please.
We are blessed to be here today from wherever we are tuning in from because we will get to know something that might change our circumstances, our conditions, our situations, and events forever. The mind indeed is moving in a new direction, MIND, and we wouldn't want to be left behind, would we? And this new direction the mind is moving into requires our consciousness and awareness in order to shift our reality with our imagination. And we can shift our reality, whatever challenge we might be going through, be it financial, career, marital, social, relationship issues, any health conditions or terminal illness, mental health, emotional health, or spiritual health challenges. Our mind is the key to unlocking and shifting from merely surviving to an explosion of thrival living. Are you ready here and now? Because this topic, quantum mindset thinking, limiting belief shifting, is the edge between psychology and quantum physics. It's about making quantum changes in our lives. So, moving in a new direction and shifting from classical rational mind to quantum mindset thinking, there is a revolution of the mind and a new way of thinking called the quantum mindset. And this is by Rick Thompson. While classical physics is deterministic and provides precise predictions and focuses on singular occurrences and rational obvious ones, quantum physics, on the other hand, introduces probabilistic behavior at the microscopic level, where there is no one predetermined outcome for any event. Instead, there are infinite outcomes depending on the choice we make with our mind and imagination. That's where our mind plays a vital role. And quantum mindset thinking is not only the next level of thinking, it is the next stage in our human evolution. Our mind indeed is evolving from classical, rational, survival mind into thrival quantum mindset. Classical thinking thinks in terms of strong or weak, good or evil, limiting our ability to see matters from a wider perspective. Classical thinking thinks in terms of good or bad, happy or sad, too much or not enough. And as humans, we think more than 6,000 thoughts every day, 80% of which are negative and 7 times more powerful than positive thoughts. Our default setting is one that focuses on the negative, that has greater impact on us than the positive. We keep reminding ourselves of what is missing, what is inadequate. We keep reminding ourselves of failure, scarcity, insecurity, undeservingness, and unworthiness. And we repeat what we do not like, what we do not want, what we don't like doing in life, rather than focusing on what we like or are achieving. We find ourselves unable to consider our challenges from all possible sides, not just the rational obvious ones. Our mind is also evolving from fear-based lower human conceptual ego mind of what is materially physically seen to higher consciousness, which is quantum consciousness, which is oneness, which is unity consciousness of the unseen. What quantum science understands and what spirituality already knows is we are an individual piece of higher consciousness, and quantum mechanics merges spirituality and science. We've been trained, however, to put more emphasis on the physical part of us, not much on our spiritual, divine, vibrating energy aspect, where we perceive with physical senses the daily life outer appearances and external dependencies like cash, food, prestige, success, abundance, and this causes us a lot of misery and suffering, leading to the internal mind chatter that seems never to cease as we keep focus onto the surface external phenomena, creating limiting, disempowering beliefs about ourselves and others and the world we live in, always in an agitated fight-flight response, those beta wave state, the mind in override, higher mental arousal associated with worry, stress, anxiety, fear, doubt, scarcity, feeling unlucky, where our limiting beliefs reside, merely existing, not living lives fully. We are in an era where distractions are many and moments of genuine peace are few. We are merely existing, not living. Staying up in the head, rarely finding time to get into the heart where living resides. We may confuse existence with living. Existing is merely getting by, feeling detached, staying trapped in the monotony of repetitive thoughts of our ego. Every moment of our lives, we are always in a struggle, creating unnecessary torture and suffering with our thoughts and our mind. Telling ourselves in our head things that aren't true because of what we perceive through the senses. And most times we torment ourselves unnecessarily by staying on the surface, on the external events we see with our senses. Living is when we tap into the still, silent, calm space of the heart, the unified field uncontrolled by repetitive thoughts. We don't just exist in a physical world. We are dualistic beings existing both in flesh and unseen consciousness. And most of us are unaware of how much of our lives are pure consciousness. We can be in a world richer than our physical world. How liberating it would be to be relieved of the survival stress-driven thought processes, the need to fix problems, manipulating the outcome, focusing on singular occurrences with an narrow view of conceptual ego mind, the ego thinking it has to destroy potential threats to make us survive, in our source of fears, desires, and constant tension. The ego's false idea of believing that we are what we have or what we do is a limited way of assessing living life. According to Ken Wilber, we live in an era of rationality. The rational mind is what's building the world today, or so it appears. And the rational mind looks at pre-rational cultures, ideas like dancing in the rain, dancing to make the rain come, as outdated. And rational era that we are in sees the world from a physical perspective and aware of the level beyond the physical. The world is changing. There is a new emerging era in human culture called the transrational. And the transrational, according to Ken Wilber, these are quantum spiritual ideas being studied by science that are powerful, that we need to look at. For example, healing the body with the mind, thinking things into being because we are what we think, communicating through our dreams, doing more in less time, teleportation of information through telepathy, downloading info from the quantum archives. We are getting into the realm of the transrational. And that is the ultimate truth, and this physical world is just a dream. Where do we stand today as we start this presentation? We are no longer in the pre-rational culture, where indigenous cultures had to dance to cause rain. And we are not remaining stuck in a rational era. Are we ready to embrace the transrational quantum mindset era? We are ready to go. When we are considering living a physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually healthy life, there are two things we've got to look at. One, we have to look beyond physicality, beyond classical physics into quantum physics. There is more to life than meets the eye, and we can expand our worldview and our mindset to include physical sensory stuff of life and our inner realms of consciousness. There is a whole different world our mind isn't aware exists. That unseen world of energy, that unseen world of soul, more real and more powerful. We've been tricked to see the world in the lens of the physical world, that everything that is real is what we see and touch. And we are stuck trying to operate in a rapidly changing world using old assumptions and unrealistic expectations. We are not taking full advantage of the breakthrough in science and psychology that can expand our personal worldview. Two, we will require a different type of thinking. Our ability to see matter from a wider perspective, to consider our challenges from all possible sides, not just focusing on singular occurrences and rational obvious ones. Able to hold multiple opposing thoughts at the same time, considering all possibilities rather than choose sides. And doing this, we open our mind to infinite possibilities surrounding us, and we shift from default way of thinking, accepting that the truth doesn't always have to make sense. It opens us to new possibilities to evaluate the world more fully. Quantum thinking, a supportive addition to our life, adds fulfillment and dimension to our personal and professional spheres. It is the idea that even though our lives can feel predictable at times, at the quantum level, nothing can be predicted because things change instantaneously due to infinite possibilities. And quantum thinking applies this concept to everyday life, challenging us to consider all possible outcomes rather than defaulting to our limited way of perceiving the world. By shifting into the mode of quantum thinking, we can expand our worldview, evolve to the next level, because quantum physics gives us a new way of thinking and directing our thoughts with imagination toward a particular event we want to see. And our mind relies on quantum physics, not classical physics, to power thinking processes. And we can consider quantum processes as helping us understand better how the mind works and shed light on consciousness. We can use quantum thinking when faced with challenges. In contrast to classical physics, quantum mechanics explains issues not understood within classical rational context. Because all biological organisms must obey the laws of physics, both classical and quantum. And the human mind is quantum. Consciousness exists in a different realm rather than inside our thinking brains. And classical physics looks at the big that we can see, while quantum physics sees the small that we can't see that is very powerful, that quantum realm between atoms. Quantum means the smallest and most elementary particles that are the basics of this big world. And in the classical world, things are usually straightforward and logical, whereas in the quantum world, we are looking at infinite possibilities, where these atoms and particles defy the laws of classical physics and operate on the laws of quantum physics. And on that scale, a particle doesn't exist in one state or the other, but in a number of states at once. We would exist between states of both moving and at rest, both dead and alive. And this is called superposition, where a particle exists in a combination of states. And when a particle is able to exist in a combination of states, that's where we can use our imagination, whatever challenge we are faced with, to decide which we prefer to see happen in our lives. In the quantum realm, sometimes a particle will appear to be doing two contradictory things at the same time. And the particle can be in both places at the same time, a superposition of all the possible alternative opinions and possibilities. So when we observe with our imagination this particle that is in a multiple places at the same time, the intention with which we observe this particle, be it a health condition, be it a mental condition, be it a financial condition, it determines how this condition will appear and collapse into that state that we wish to see. We have to choose how we prefer to feel and all the other realities and ways of being and inner selves in order to bring meaning to the life we really want to see. If we are lonely, there is another part of us that isn't lonely and thrives on being alone. Our opposite is alive and well. If it is infertility that you are facing, there is an option of IVF or having parenting beyond blood kinship. And where there is terminal illness, there is an option of living a symptom-free life. And where there are body image flaws, we can enjoy ourselves just the way we are. If it is a career path that is riddled with rejections, we could have the possibility of finding what makes us so passionate. And where the spark of marriage has frozen, there is an option of sensual intimacy from the heart to rekindle the spark. And when living in perceived lack and scarcity, pay attention to this. There is an option of creating a reality of infinite possibility and abundance. This is what quantum mindset means. We might be having issues with a health condition. However, health is a superposition in either healed or ailing. We can enjoy our freedom of imagination to begin to let ourselves feel, think, walk, and act as if we are worthy of healing. And that feeling, if it is strong enough, and beliefs about it are really strong, a healed body will begin to shift from unrealistic to realistic and to inevitable, and we will be healed. Observing the superposition of healthy and ailing with the intention of healing collapses the superposition into one definite state of a healed body that matches with our intention to heal our body. And we are able to do that when we are in alpha state, in that relaxed state, not in the bitter, worry state of fear. The very act of observing something, observing that situation, observing that challenge can change its behavior according to the imagination of what you want it to appear as. We've to answer in physical action by inspired action to our intention. It's not a matter of imagination and then thinking without taking any action. All possible ways a particle we wish to change by observing can manifest already exists somewhere. Whatever we can imagine exists somewhere already in some realm of time and space that we experience in the now. Are we ready to begin shifting our situations? And this depends on which hemisphere of the brain we choose to operate from to live to our fullest potential, to move away from survival into thrival. Are you aware that our brains are divided into two hemispheres, which allow us to perceive the world in different ways? The ego is an illustration created by our brain's left hemisphere to help us to function in our life and to manipulate our environment. It's responsible for grasping, getting, achieving, and it creates the ego, the illusion of the separate, independent self. The left brain's interpretation is a simplified, limited, often inaccurate view of what's known by the right hemisphere. The right hemisphere's view is more foundational, while the left hemisphere's view is what we have prioritized. And the right hemisphere allows us to know the world as a whole, as an animate and living process. It prioritizes what is and allows us to generate meaning and values and is more concerned with being than doing. It's more concerned with thrival than survival. Are we ready to tune into our right hemisphere? The process of shifting into the quantum mindset, quantum field reality, there are 10 processes. The first one, we have to acknowledge that the unseen world of energy, soul, spirit, and mind is more real and more powerful. Number two, we admit that the narrow view of the conceptual mind that we've operated in till up now. And number three, we realize that there are infinite realities simultaneously happening at once. And number four, we have to know that we can shift into a quantum mindset by getting into the gap between our thoughts and connecting to the quantum realm. Number five, reprogramming our subconscious mind. Number seven, quieting the mind to shift from beta into the slower alpha brainwave. Number seven, transcending limitations of our senses and experience being more nothing, being more energy, being more wave than something which is matter or particle. And number eight, elevating our energy to match that of the quantum field. And lastly, awareness that the subatomic particles pop in and out of existence, and that gives us the mandate to shift our reality in whichever way we need it. The content that we are looking at today, content number one, is what hinders quantum mindset thinking. Content number two, the inner freedom, a result of quantum thinking mindset. Number three, quantum mind power application to life. Number four, the subconscious mind link to higher mind, freedom, purpose, and overcoming uncertainty. And lastly, the quantum mindset and the physics of change. So what hinders quantum mindset thinking? The only thing holding us back from sensing our quantum mindset are our conditioned limiting beliefs. We have to become aware of the things we tell ourselves every day in our head. What our unconscious beliefs are, the old limiting beliefs, the old programming, those attitudes hinder our entry into the highly creative quantum mindset. We have to learn how to align our conscious mind and our subconscious mind so that they work for us instead of against us. We will soon see life as infinite possibilities and probabilities that will benefit us and everyone and everything around us. Topic number 2, freedom as a result of quantum mindset thinking. What are we gaining freedom from? We are gaining freedom from expectations, from grasping, from emotional entanglements, from worldly entanglements, liberation from self-concern, from the inner story of the self that the mind makes up. That self-reference, who we are socially, from fear, from contraction, or being stopped by limitation and doubt. We are gaining freedom from the enslavements to our emotional reactivity and our deeply conditioned cultural and egoic conditioning. And this can be a radical, free, powerful response to this life, uninhibited, unhindered. And this is according to Craig Hamilton. Our clinging, our expectations, our building determine the way we interact with other people. And instead of relating openly, we find ourselves manipulating. We speak and act in certain ways because we are trying to get people to behave in ways that conform with our expectations. And we end up treating people not according to who they really are, but according to the facades we project. Freedom from all these will help us get into a quantum mindset thinking. Topic number 3, the quantum mind power application to life. Everything we experience in our life is made up of vibrating energy, and our mind directs that energy. And accessing our subconscious mind and the quantum mind, merging our conscious mind with our subconscious mind, makes us achieve the following in miraculous ways, such as feeling more connected to all living beings, having better memory, enhanced learning abilities, profound levels of creativity, easily understand and root out all unnecessary fears, super clarity of thought with calm and quiet mind, living a truly happy and fulfilled life, a well-tuned intuition with easy access to life solutions, having a more meaningful and powerful dream life, super powerful ability to self-heal, the ability to manifest abundance of all types, and more success in all life endeavors. And lastly, the subconscious mind linked to higher mind, freedom, purpose, and overcoming uncertainty. Uncertainty is a natural part of life. So why is it so difficult for us to accept what we don't know? When dealing with a situation where we feel indecisive or uncertain, quantum thinking can be extremely beneficial. Quantum mindset and the physics of change. When we develop the skills to hold more than one opposing opinion, we can empower ourselves to choose. As we end this presentation, I invite you to get into that quiet space within you. What situation, what condition, what circumstance are you going through? What challenge, what trial are you facing right now? Is it a mental health condition? Is it an emotional health condition? Is it finances? Is it parenting? Is it marital? Is it relationship? Whatever it is, give a name to it. And after giving it a name, think about all the alternative scenarios that could be available in the unseen realm and choose out that particular scenario that you would prefer your situation to change into. Remember, you have to do this when you are in a relaxed state of alpha. Employ imagination. Visualize that particular reality you want to see manifest in your life. Focus on it. Hold on to it. Visualize it fully as you need to see it happen. And remember, what we visualize, that possibility out of the infinite possibilities that are available to us, can be shifted by your imagination. Imagination leads us to the reality we wish to see. And this is what quantum mindset is all about. You can continue with this exercise after we end this presentation, but I leave you with just one word. No matter what it is we are going through, we have the opportunity to shift it using quantum thinking. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you have received something that is going to help you throughout your life forever. Have a blessed day. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an insightful and wonderful presentation. So, question from my side is, by seeing the importance of the quantum aspects of the psychology, so what is your suggestions to the mental health professional that how they should adopt the quantum psychology or its perspective in their professional life also, or in their personal life, or a simple human being can, how they should look at the quantum side of the psychology and how they should adopt in their life?
The first thing we need to understand is that we are more than our physical bodies. And when we look deeper into our physical makeup, when we look at this body made up of atoms, beneath these atoms, there are smaller and smaller and smaller particles. You don't need to know the name of that particle. But imagine it right now that within you, there is that place within you that is so small and yet very powerful. And when you have accessed that part of you that is so small and yet so powerful, you will understand that this part of you that is so small operates on the laws of the quantum. And the laws of the unseen are that we are all connected. One particle of me here, seated right here, is connected to another particle of you that is listening to me wherever you are. And these two particles know the state of the other even when they are hundreds of miles apart. And a change in one particle can cause a change in the other particle that is hundreds of thousands of miles away. You can be having a child who is sick right now just by closing your eyes and imagining this child that is going through a mental challenge, that is having bipolar. Just imagine yourself as energy infiltrating and healing that child. Remember, imagination is key. And if it is that not that child, you can apply this onto yourself. You have a condition somewhere in your kidney, or a condition in your liver, or a condition in your back. How will you adapt quantum mindset to heal that condition? Look at two particles, one particle in your mind and another particle in that back that is aching you. These two particles know the condition of the other, and a change in one particle will affect the change in the other. If I change the way I think about my illness, I have the opportunity of changing the illness that I am going through. I hope your question has been answered.